Example, when I was really young, I read in a book, for those of you that are younger than me, a book that was the internet printed on dead trees. And I read this trick, and the trick said that you would take 3 pieces of rope, like these 3 pieces of rope. You'd have a short rope like this one. You'd have a long rope like that one. You'd have a medium rope like this one. And the book said that you would make them the same length, like these 3 pieces of rope. This rope being the same length as that rope, and that rope being the same length as those. And then the book said that just by running them through your hands, they would change back to a short, a medium, and a long rope. And I thought to myself, well, that sounds fantastic. That's something that I might want to do. Sounds silly, but if I ever did need to change the ropes for some reason, that would be handy. So I ran out to a store and I got myself a long piece of rope, I got myself a short piece of rope, I got myself a medium piece of rope, and I was going to learn to make them the same length, like these 3 pieces of rope. I gave you a chance to see it again. Don't look away. 3 pieces of rope exactly the same length. This one being the same length as that one, and that one being the same length as those. And then just by running them through my hand, they would change back to a short, a medium, and a long piece of rope. Now, unfortunately, the secret wasn't so simple. I turned the page and there was the secret. And it said that you would take the long rope and you would fold it in half like this to make a loop. Now, nobody's supposed to see that, but I'm showing you because you're my friends. And then you would take the short rope and you would put it through that loop and you would fold it in half like this, so its ends would match here, the ends would match down there, and when you would put the medium rope next to it, if it's the right length, the ends would match. The ropes would appear to be the same length. It's just an illusion. You would have to hide all of that stuff right there. It was disappointing. It was difficult. It was not what I wanted to do. So I just decided to get rid of the folded over part so that I could just really have 3 ropes that were the same length. It just made more sense to me. So, is this your first time seeing a real magician? Yeah, I understand the feeling. You see, 3 ropes are the same length, and then of course, when I wanted to make them different lengths, I would grab that piece that I took out, I'd put it back in, and then they would change back to the 3 different lengths of rope. So I must apologize, I never learned how to do that trick. It doesn't mean I can't do it, I just can't do the tricky part. But if you ever have 3 pieces of rope that are different lengths like these 3 and you need them to be the same, I can do that. Oh, that was really fast. I just fooled myself. Oh, yeah. And if you have 3 pieces of rope that are the same and you need them to be different, I can do that. Just don't ask me how. I never bothered to learn this secret. Okay. So this has become the opening to all of my shows. I absolutely love it. It sets the scene perfectly. It's really, it feels interactive without actually having to get somebody up on stage. You're always talking to the audience. It takes something that a lot of people in the modern age are now familiar with, because anybody that's curious about how magic tricks are done has learned how the 3 rope trick works. I mean, you know, even when I was starting out, it was one of the most revealed secrets of all, was the professor's nightmare. So if you don't call it the professor's nightmare, people don't know to look for it. But in the modern age now, the 3 rope trick is enough to Google, enough to YouTube. They will know how the 3 rope trick works. So this plays around with that idea, because this one obviously does not work in the same way as the standard professor's nightmare works. But more than that, you can take this idea, what I've done here, you can take this scripting idea, this presentation, and you can put it with anything that you do. And the presentation is very simple. It is that I don't know how this works. I can do it, but I don't know how. There is a secret behind this, and you can come up with a pseudo-secret, and you can say you're supposed to do all of this kind of stuff, but when I don't do that, it just works, so I do it. I do it this way. And this way is magic. And now what you're doing is you're creating this fantasy world that people buy into. They know it's not true, but that's okay. We know that movies and television. We know that streaming dramas and comedies and all that kind of stuff, we know that that's not true. We know that books are fictional, generally speaking. I mean, even some of the things that are fact-based, they decorate the stories. We know that no politician ever tells the truth. We know that no sports is unrigged. We know that, basically we know that life itself is a lie. But at its best, it is fun fantasy, and we indulge in it. And that's what we as magicians offer to our audience, is escapism from the doldrums of mundane life. Now, we don't claim to have these crazy powers because, look, if we did, we'd frighten all of them. Fear and surprise are identical in their emotional components. There have been many studies done on this, and people with electrodes all put on them. And the way they react when they're frightened is exactly the same way they react when they're surprised. The first thing about surprise is fear. Our job as magicians is to somehow mitigate that, somehow make it acceptable. And the way we make it acceptable is not to force it on them, not to say, I'm better than you because I know how this works and you don't. If we do that, which is unfortunately how most magicians fail, the only thing people have is to try to figure out how it's done. The only question that they can ask is, how did it work? And then they try to search for those answers. So what we need to do is to provide them with something beyond that. So first of all, I set myself up as a character that has this power, this ridiculous, meaningless power. That's pretty important. I can't do anything except change these ropes. And why would that matter to anybody? But I also am not trying to hold back any secret. I'm actually trying to share a secret with them. And yet it still happens, and they still don't know how it happens. But I don't know how it happens either. Think about this. If you were a real magician and you did some real magic, you could not explain exactly how you did it. You also wouldn't know. Your only explanation would be, well, it's magic. Yeah, right? So you think about that. So if we are trying to create this fantasy world for people, well, then the only answer is when somebody asks, and this is why I invented it, when somebody asks, how did you do that? The only answer is, well, I don't know. I just do it. All I do is I say a word, or I make an action, or I hope for something, or I pass my hand over it, and it happens. And that's what we're trying to establish. Now, the reason I open my show with this is because automatically it sets the audience to a point where they're told, don't even bother to try to figure it out. That's not the point. You're not going to. Number one, you're not going to figure it out, and I am also not challenging you to figure it out. What I'm saying is, this is theater. This is where you immerse yourself in this fantasy world that I've created. Now, the actual secret to it is quite simple. There are 4 pieces of rope. So 2 of them are the same, these 2. They are what we would call medium lengths, they match. One of them is a short rope, and the 4th one is this guy right here. And this is the difference between a short rope and a medium rope. And it's cut a little bit off center, and this one has a special monofilament loop put onto the top of it. So that goes over my finger like that. So at the very beginning when I pick the ropes up, that's the first thing I do. Then I pick up one of the medium ropes, and just by holding it here, it now looks like a long rope. It's that simple. And the nice thing about that particular gimmick is that I don't have to think about this. All I'm doing is holding a single rope. I really am. The other rope is holding me. So I don't have to work, that's a joke. I'm holding a single rope. I should address this. It's the perfect time to perform magic and comedy is after everybody is stuffed with pasta. You're all in a mood to laugh, and right. So I'll try to get this moved along. So anyway, so you're holding onto one rope like that. You're not worried about the other one. In fact, stop thinking about it, and it really just feels like a single rope. Now the other medium rope goes over your elbow like this, and then you're able to show short rope over here. So I mean, it really is very open. There's nothing to worry about. So now when I place the short rope here, and I take the medium rope like that, they are now the same. That is the move. Isn't that great? That's the move. I think even pasta-filled people can do that. You know, if you can't do that, just go now. So that's the entire move. But you have to make it more than that. So here's how we disguise that. So you take the short one and you put it here. Now you're going to grab this one over there. Then you're going to come back and take the other one as you kind of gesture. That's it. You're still doing exactly the same thing with an intervening action that is meaningless, it does nothing, but it makes it look like it just changes by itself because there's no focus on the moment. And I think that's an important lesson from this too, is that magicians often focus on the moment and people see the move. A thing like the pass, for example, you know, it telegraphs itself if you focus on that moment. If you focus away from it, they never see it. So now you've got 3 ropes that appear to be the same length, and it's the same thing. You're very open about this. If you ever show the inside of this hand, you can just put your thumb over that, but I just show it as though there's 3 ropes. And then you lay them next to one another, and then this is even easier. This isn't even the move. This is easier than the move. To change them back, all you do is exactly what you say you're doing. This actually is magic and works entirely by itself. You grab the top 3 ends and you pull them, and out pops the short rope. You continue to pull and you just grab onto one of the ends. It's done. And then you pull the end that you've grabbed onto. They have changed back by themselves with absolutely no effort whatsoever. So when I came up with this and I started messing around with these moves in front of a mirror, you know, I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. I knew that I had something that was visually very pleasing. And then you just repeat that a couple of times. So you're going to do that same thing again, and you can gesture to one side or the other, it doesn't matter, and they change back and forth and all of that. And then they change back, boom, 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 like this. And now you're going to give that pseudo explanation. Now what's fun about the pseudo explanation is that it's very close to the real one. I mean, anybody that's familiar with the Professor's Nightmare is like, yeah, that's what you have to do. And then you put this through and you fold it in half, and they're like, yeah, that's the secret. So if you don't feel comfortable revealing this, you know, that's okay. You don't have to do the pseudo explanation, but it really sets up the impact of the ending. You should know that most people in your audience are going to go, oh yeah, I've seen that before. That's most people in the modern age. People who haven't are going to go, that's not what you're doing. So they're not going to believe it. So only the people who have ever seen this or are familiar with it are going to recognize it, and then you're going to get the double whammy on them. The other people are like, that's just a joke, you know? So now you're going to pick these up. Now I'm going to teach you this move. This is not in the instructions, but this particular move is something that I've come up with over the years. So normally I would just show that and then take it apart and continue with the routine, but I think this is worth learning. It's actually very easy to do. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the 2 ends that are hooked right here and right there. So that one's going to fall on its own like that, and I'm going to pick up the other one. That's it. So easy to do. And I'm just going to do that as I turn to the side like this. There's nothing to it. And now I can apparently take the thing off and show that there are 3 separate ropes. So it's really, you know, just unbelievably cool. So now when I get back to this, it's exactly the same thing as before, but I just act like I take that and put it back in, and then I end up here. Now, all of this is to set up the ending, because these are the best moves. When I invented this, like I said, I played around with all this stuff in front of a mirror, and I fooled myself over and over again, but the move that actually fooled me was this one. I had gotten into this position, and I wanted to start over. I wanted to go back to where I had the 3 ropes that were the same length. And so all I did was that. Wait, hold on a second. I'll do it. I'll show you. So I'm looking at the mirror, and I look down at my hands for a second, and I go like this, and now the ropes are the same length. And I did a double take, and I was like, what did I actually do? I just had 3 different lengths of rope, and now I have 3 ropes that are the same length, and I didn't do anything that could even be considered a move. So it's really actually quite easy, and you're way ahead of me on this. Here's where I was, and then that's all I'm doing. That's it. There's nothing to it. So the whole trick is this. They're the same, they're different. They're the same, they're different. Throughout the entire trick, this is all that's happening. There is nothing else. Every move accomplishes the same thing. So at the end here, all we're doing is that in a couple of ways that look deceptive. So instead of just reaching up and taking this, hold on to that end, bring both together, then take it. And even knowing that, and even doing it slow, 3 different ropes that are now the same, it just feels like they change automatically. So that happens. So now the last move is this one, where I'm going to move down like that. So it's the same thing, I'm going to move down like this. But unfortunately, if I just do that, you can see it happen. No matter how fast you are, you can tell. And the reason is because the only thing that moves is my hand and the piece of rope. So that motion calls attention to itself. So what you need to do here is to add extra motion to it. And you've heard the expression that you can hide, you can conceal a small motion in the middle of a larger motion. Well, that's only true if that larger motion is in the same direction as the small motion. So when you see something like this, when you see a little movement, you're like, well, how can I start before that movement, right? So this is the movement, and I isolate it there. So I need to start before it, which is above it, and I need to end below it. So to do that, I push my hand up, I pull my hand down, and I continue. And that's it. So it really conceals itself in the action of get ready. So you show this, you show 3 ropes that are the same length, you go like that, and it changes, and now you have 3 different ropes, and that is the awakening. So we have, this is something that people at NEMCON did not get a chance to see. So this is something for you tonight. Is that particular trick. There will be a couple of other ones. If who was at NEMCON? Who did get to see me there? So you will get to see some things that you didn't get to see there. That's one of them. And I have 4 of those available, but if more than 4 people want them, Sarah Ella will always take somebody's address, you pay for it, and we always offer free shipping on anything that we don't currently have in stock to give across the table. So you won't lose out on it. So if you like that one, you can obviously get that one. It's kind of an addition to the stuff that we had at NEMCON. We did sell one item out at NEMCON that we won't have here for you tonight, but that's kind of a replacement. Okay, and that's it. That music means that's the end of the lecture. Thank you so much for coming. You know, I want to do one of the things, actually probably a couple of things that you did see at NEMCON, so please indulge me as I perform this amazing thing with this pen that looks like an ordinary Sharpie. It looks pretty normal. But this pen can actually write any color at all. Name any color.
Blue.
Blue. Let's see if I can make the pen write blue. And there it is. If you can't see it in the back, it's a stupid joke. You probably already knew this joke, but didn't expect someone of my caliber to actually perform it. No, I have no respect for myself whatsoever. So that's just a gag. Anybody can do that. But this pen actually can change to a different color. Name a different color, not blue.
Magenta.
Magenta. All right. So it could change to magenta if I wanted it to. I don't. But here, you hold that. We'll have you work with that one. I'm going to change it to my favorite color. I'm going to show you how it's done. Okay? You just follow along with me. What's your name?
Dave.
Dave. All right, so Dave, just watch closely. All you have to do is you turn the cap a quarter turn clockwise. You tap it once like this. You give it one shake and it changes to a color. My favorite color is orange, by the way. So nobody's ever going to name orange, but you name blue, so you get to change it to blue. So here, you take that. Do exactly what I did.
Turn.
Yeah.
Tap.
Okay. So no. Okay. No, look, Dave. The turn was good, but the tap was more of a smack, right? And then your shake was more of a thrust. So you didn't quite do it exact. Don't try anything else though, because you could really mess it up if you tried anything else. Just hold it up high enough so everybody can see it. Blue, you said? Yeah.
First time, yes.
Yeah, that's fine. Take the cap off. Blue, there it is. Yeah, see, that's simple. And put the cap on the bottom. All right. See, if you change the movements, it doesn't always work. But magenta was the other color you said, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so here's your chance to do it properly. Now remember, the cap's on the bottom now, so you twist the cap a quarter, turn. Clockwise, it's upside down. It should have gone the other way. That's okay, no, it's too late now. It's too late now. You did it counterclockwise. So, you know, you're gonna, I think you're gonna get close to it, but I don't think the whole pen's gonna change. Now you tap it once with one finger. Oh, that's perfect. And then you give it one shake like this. Still kind of a thrust. It's all right. Some people are shakers, some people are thrusters. So. All right, if you will write magenta on that piece of paper, you can just write M-A-G. That way we can show everybody that it is actually writing in magenta. There you go. Show them around there. Yeah, that's exactly right. And then you give the pen back to me. You did a very good job with that. Unfortunately, you've broken my very expensive pen. You owe me $30.
See Joel.
I'm just kidding. All I actually have to do is undo everything that you did, which was, let me see. So you turned it counterclockwise, that would be undo the clockwise. Then you turned it clockwise. That would undo it by being counterclockwise. You did the tap, so I can untap it once. You did a smack, so I'm going to unsmack it once. You did a thrust like this, and kind of a thrust like that, and now it'll go back to the way that it was, just a simple black magic marker. Okay, so this one is called Prism Pen, and it's great because all you need to do this is one ordinary Sharpie marker. And this thing. It's another joke. That's all right. So I'm gonna stop trying to be funny. It's just not working. I think there's so much pasta in between the humor receptors at this point. So you're gonna have your normal marker up here in your pocket. Now you can do this in your pants pocket or whatever because you can tell the difference between these. You'll see why in a second. Well, actually, let me explain it because most people aren't gonna wear a fancy jacket like this. You would have these two pens in your pants pocket this way. So one of them you can feel has no cap at the bottom of it. That's the normal one. The other one has a cap at the bottom of it. That is the special one. So in your pocket you can feel that. Now if you do it up here, you just put the special cap like that and the normal one like this in the front. So most of the time you'd be using your normal marker. When you get ready to do that one, you pull it out of there. And I use this just like you saw, just as a standalone, but also I use it when somebody signs something like a playing card or borrows money or something like that as kind of an interlude. So you bring out the normal one and you mess around with it, you do something with it, whatever it is that you do. For this, you start by having somebody name any color, and it doesn't matter what color they name. The pen that I have in there is 3 colors: orange, blue, and red. Orange, blue, and red. So if they name anything close to any of those colors, I can use them. But you probably see that I like to work funny. So I don't want them to name those colors. It's okay if they name something. I definitely don't want them to name orange. But imagine if he had named orange, that's fine, because that's what it's going to change to begin with. That's also fun. And I can have fun with that. If he says orange, I go, really? Well, nobody ever says orange. And then I do that, and now it's going to change. But generally speaking, for my work, they don't name the first color that comes out. They might name red or blue, and it'd be the same with any one that you get here. There's all different varieties. You can ask Sarah Ella about those. She'll be happy to tell you for the 100th time all the varieties that we have here. So whatever color they name, you write it down with the black Sharpie. You put it away, and just do an off-tempo switch. You clip this one on as you look at them, and you say, oh no, it's just a joke. And then you bring out the special one. And the special one, you're hiding the cap that's on the bottom. Now, I've been misleading you. That cap is actually on the top of the pen. So that's the top of the pen upside down. The black cap is on the bottom. So that's the important part, is that you're holding a pen upside down, but it looks like you're holding the pen right side up. And that's where the magic comes from. People make an assumption that the pen is being displayed with the cap on top of it, but it's not. So all you have to do is turn it over, and that affects the color change. But that turning it over is actually more of a challenge than you might think. it has to be done smoothly and somewhat quickly. To do that, you use what I call a dagger move. The dagger move comes from knife fighting. So if you've never been in a knife fight, let me give you some pointers. So all you do is you hold it between your index finger and your thumb. You put your middle finger behind like this. You squeeze it between your middle finger and your index finger. You put your thumb on the other side. You put your index finger on the opposite side. And then you grab it back like this. So you're walking your fingers around one at a time. So here, 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 like that. Middle thumb, index, middle thumb, index. So start slowly doing that. Now I've been doing this for years, so I can do it pretty quickly without thinking about it. But what you should do is you should do this with just a normal pen, or if you get one of these, do it with this pen, and walk around all day long doing this. Do if you got a regular job, do it at your regular job. If you've got a family, when you're with your family watching TV or eating dinner or whatever, do it everywhere you go. Doesn't matter where you are. Do it while you're driving. Drive with one hand, that kind of stuff. Do it as often as you possibly can until somebody says, "Will you please stop doing that?" And you say, "What?" Do it until you don't think about doing it, is what I'm trying to say. So really get comfortable with it, so that you can talk, you can interact, you can do whatever you need to. Now, no matter how good you get at this, you still can't hide it. You can still, you can flip it as fast as you want to, but it's not going to be hidden. But remember what we learned with the first one, how you hide a small action in a larger action, but it has to be in the same direction. Watch what happens if I try to do this as I move the pen down. Let's start with a black cap, and I'm going to move the pen down. It actually accents it. You see it more. But if I start with the black cap and I move the pen up, you don't see it at all. See? This is the strength of hiding that action. So you're going to drop down, and then you're going to swing up like that. And it really looks like it just changes, not like it turns. So on the downward action, you get in position. On the upward action, you perform the movement. And it's very gentle. You don't have to do very much. You go like this, and it's done. So now you can take you don't take the cap off. You take the pen out of the bottom cap, and you show the pen, and the bottom cap is just held over here. Now I squeeze it between my thumb and my little finger. You don't have to worry. Nobody pays attention to this hand. So you just hand out the pen to the person, and depending on what they said, they are going to try to change the color of it. Now if they happen to say blue, they're going to get it the first time out inside. If they happen to say red, they're going to get it the second time that they try inside. If they say anything else, they're never going to get it. But it doesn't matter, because this whole thing is a comedy of errors of you trying to explain to them how to perform this little magic trick, and them trying to replicate it. No matter what they do, it's not going to be quite exactly right. And so you say, oh, well, that's not exactly. If they say purple, it's going to split it into the two colors. If they say green, it's going to be, oh my gosh, you got it close. You got blue. Try again. Oh no, you got the opposite of it. It's red. If they say yellow, you didn't get anywhere near it. Try again. Nope, you completely missed it. But that's okay. Now you've broken it. Now you owe me this money. So you see how it's that. Okay. Very seldom will it happen like it happened here, where they get blue, and then they name something that's close to red, like magenta. Magenta, you can get away with that. You can say that it's magenta.
So you owe me $20.
That's right. And that's all right. I promise that I will pay you $20 of knowledge. So, and here it comes. Every once in a while, they will say orange. You'll change it to orange, and you will go, oh, isn't that amazing? You'll write down orange, and then you'll change it to orange, and then you'll say, yeah, you get a chance. What would you like to change it to? And they say blue. You go, okay, try that. But nope, you made a little mistake. You didn't change the whole thing, but inside you changed it to blue. And then you say, just for the fun of it, name one more color, and they say red. So very seldom will this ever happen, but it has happened to me, and it's great. Just whatever you do, here's the knowledge for you. Don't jump up and down. Say, or don't even go, yes. If it happens, and it's not just this trick, if it happens with anything, if you know that you've got the 3 of clubs on top of the deck, and you say, just name any card, and somebody says 3 of clubs, don't go, yeah. Or don't go, here it is. Don't do that. If they say red, you go, oh, man, you can't do that one. Nobody's ever been able to do that one. It's the hardest one to do. You know, you can try it, but I just don't think you're going to succeed. So build that up, right? If you know you've got a win, if you know you've got one in the pocket, if you know you've got one ready to go, push it back a little bit. Push it back, right? Don't push it back all the way. So if that 3 of clubs is on the top of the deck and they say 3 of clubs and you go, oh yeah, well, okay, I can do that, but I probably shouldn't touch the deck. Yeah, I probably shouldn't do it at all. I think you should do it. You should probably make, here, I want you to imagine the 3 of clubs. I want you to shrink the 3 of clubs down. I want you to stick it on the top of your finger. I want you to top of the tap of the deck, and then boom, and then there it is. Build that moment up when you know you've got it. When you know you've got it.
Power in the water.
That's where magic comes from, you know? So there's your $20 right there.
Do you have red ink that appears anywhere?
Do I have red ink?
When you say red, why is it red was the special color?
Oh, well, because we said it was magenta, and you believed it was magenta. It's red. It's just red. It's yeah. This is that's red.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. I get it.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Good. I love that question
Yeah.
because you know that's the other thing is that I also I work a lot of improv.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm working with people. So this is the first time somebody said magenta, but I know that red is close enough to magenta that I could sell it. You know, I can make it. Somebody has said when I've done this before, and I did that. Somebody said, well, I want orange. It was already orange, and I said. Then they said they want orange, and I said, okay, we'll make it orange. And they did that, and I said that's orange, and that played. So, you can get away with a lot with convincing people, a little bit of psychology. Now, of course, obviously at the end, all you're doing is you're taking the pen back, and as you cap it, you put the other cap on the bottom of it that you've been holding the whole time. You just do all of this, and that same action reverses it, and you put that away. And then you can switch in for a normal pen. That is Prism pen. Okay. Yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah, no problem. I don't mind. Is it,
The restaurant wanted their lights on outside.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's on.
Sorry, if it's that red light to let the cops know that it's to not come into the place. Okay, so let's do something new that you guys haven't seen at NEMCON. I know you've never seen this, and I know how much magicians love card tricks, but I gotta be honest with you, I really don't. I try to avoid them as much as I possibly can. I try to avoid card tricks, but I do want to do a good one for somebody here that's really good at cards. So who is good at cards? You can either nominate yourself or have somebody nominate you if you happen to be humble, but people who are good at cards aren't. So I'm looking for the card. Yeah, who is it? Jace, okay, you're good at cards, right?
I guess so.
Yeah, I guess so. Amongst us. I'm not gonna put you on the spot to do any card magic, but come on up here and you can be the eyes for the audience here, because all you have to do is prove to them that that's a deck of cards. It's a standard bicycle. It's not one of those fancy decks of cards, right? They're not stuck together. It's not doubles or anything like that. Okay, good. All right, I'm gonna mix them up just a little bit. Now, when you perform card tricks, the standard card trick is somebody picks a card and then you find it. We're gonna do a variation on that and try to make it interesting for people. So I think you'll be able to do this on this table. They're hard to pick up. Oh, no, let's do it back there. They're easier to pick up back there. So, and it's Jace with a J. All right. So Jace, it's supposed to be off, not on?
Oh, you wanted it off? Oh, yeah.
All right.
You gotta specify that.
All right, so
The
Jace,
switch was either on or off.
yeah.
We think
So
you want your light on.
deck switch.
Best.
We've examined and shoveled the deck. All right, so Jace, what I'd like you to do is just cut the deck and complete the cut. You know what I mean by that. Some people don't, so I have to usually help them. And then square it around the edges, and most people don't know that either. That's why I ask for somebody who does know, saves a little time. Now I'm gonna turn my back and I'm gonna ask you to do exactly the same thing that you just did, but in a different place. So higher or lower, it gives you actually well, 51 options minus the one that you did, but you probably don't even know exactly where it was. So any of the 51 places that you can cut the deck, please do that now. Cut the deck and complete the cut. So there's no way that I could know where you cut the deck. And then square it around the edges, all right? So Jace, you'll have to agree with me. I don't know what card's on top.
Yeah.
I don't know what card's on the bottom.
Yep.
You don't know top or bottom card.
Nope.
What I'd like you to do is to take either the top or the bottom card, and without looking at it, slip it into one of your pockets. You got that? Done?
Yeah.
Okay. And again, the same rules apply now. Neither one of us, nor anyone in the room, knows the top or bottom card. So, take the new top or the new bottom card, or whichever one you want, top or bottom, without looking at it, slip it into your pocket with that first card. 2 cards, nobody knows what they are. And just because 3 is the magic number, we're gonna have you do it one more time, top or bottom card, don't look at it, slip it into your pocket, 3 cards in the pocket.
Yep.
Got it?
Yep.
Can I turn around now and not have any knowledge revealed to me of the cards that you have in your pocket?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if I were to look closely at the deck, and if the deck were marked, and if the deck were in some sort of order, it might tell me what the cards in your pocket are. But I'm not doing any of that. You don't know what they are. Yes?
Yep. Well done.
Okay. Now, the other thing is, I'm not going to try to find your cards, because if I did, it'd be easy. They're in your pocket. That part's simple. Okay? Little cam, and the cards appear in your pocket. Nothing to it. Instead, I'm going to find the mates to your cards. Now, for those of you that might not be familiar with the mates to cards, for example, that's a red 7. The other red 7 would be the 7 of diamonds. Okay? So, I know you don't have a red 7 in your pocket. This is giving me some information. But I also just quickly thumbed through about half of the cards, which means that I could have quickly memorized 26, 27, 28 of the cards and know that you don't have those in your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that also doesn't seem fair. Let's try something more challenging. To find the mates of your cards, I want you to reach into your pocket and take out any one of your cards and look at it and just tell me the, let's use the value of your card. So what is it? What's the card?
King.
It's a king?
Yeah.
I want you to imagine the mate to that card, whatever that is. It could, because I don't know what king you have. Imagine the mate to that card. It's going to be the same color. Imagine it large in front of you, and then it shrinks down, and it sticks onto the top of your finger. Put your finger out right there, where the card shrinks down, onto the top of your finger. Take that tiny card and tap the top of the deck, and then turn over the top card, and it will be the mate to the card in your hand. Show everybody. Which one was yours? Was it the King of Hearts or King of Diamonds? Do you remember?
I think it was King of Diamonds.
King of Diamonds, that's fine. Okay, doesn't matter. I'm going to leave that right there. Take another card. I'm sorry, who is it?
I turned it off.
You okay? Did you? Okay, good. That's fine. Just want to make sure it wasn't anything too important. Okay, so take another card out of your pocket.
Yep.
Take another card out of your pocket. You got one?
Yeah.
You know, this time, just tell me the color of that card. Is it a red card or a black card?
Black.
It's a black card. All right. I want you to imagine that card, the mate to that card. This time we're not going to shrink it down on your finger. This time I want you to take your finger, and I want you to imagine that your finger is a magnet turned to repulse that card, to send that card as far away from your finger as it possibly can. I want you to press onto the king. Now remember, I'm not going to touch this. You can verify. The deck is face down. The king is face up on top. Do you want to, with your other hand, not with the magnet hand. Move the king aside. With your other hand, not the magnet hand. Move the king aside just a little bit. See, the deck is face down, right? All right, you can square them up. That's good. Now, with the repulsive magnet finger, imagine the mate to that card somewhere in the deck, and I want you to push with your finger to force it to the bottom. Now, before we look at the bottom of the deck, what card do you have there? So that's the 10 of spades. So if you've done this right, that means that the 10 of clubs has now been pushed all the way to the bottom of the deck. Now, I haven't touched the cards. That means he's done all the work. Will you pick up the entire deck and show everybody the bottom card? That's the 10 of clubs. So you've found 2 of your cards. The third one is still in your pocket. So you found the 10 of clubs and the king of hearts to match your 10 of spades and king of diamonds. Now you don't know what card's in your pocket, do you?
Nope.
I don't know what card's in your pocket.
Nope.
I want you to touch your pocket. Is it this pocket over here?
Back pocket.
Back pocket. I want you to touch your pocket like that. I want you to imagine the mate. Well, you can't imagine the mate of your card. Just pick the ghostly image of your card and toss it over here. Like that. So that one card appears between these two. Remove the card from your pocket. And what is it? The 3 of clubs. That would have been good. No, I mean, it's the first time this has ever gotten this far, so. If that was the 3 of spades, this would have been amazing. And it is. Thank you so much. You may have a seat. All right, here you go. So this, it's what I'm talking about before, but this is one way to guarantee that you will always, always, always have an amazing outcome, no matter what happens, okay? So there's really not much equivocation in here at all, and I'll talk about a little bit about what it is. But the first thing that I'm gonna do is to find that what we started with was the 7 of hearts. That was the mate. That was the bottom card of the deck that we showed the mate to. And the reason I do that is because now the deck is reset. That's all I had to do, was give the deck 1 cut, collect the cards, it's reset. Now by reset, you may be wondering, well, what do I mean reset? Let me explain it to you. I'm gonna get comfortable if you don't mind. This is something that you're very familiar with, but used in a way that you may never have seen it. So who has a guess? Just raise your hand.
So what?
A guess. A guess as to, you do, yeah. It's fine. I just was curious. Your guess might be right. You can let me, I'm just gonna say what it is and then you can let me know. I just was curious if anybody had a guess as to how and what I was talking about. This is Stebbins. So the deck is in Cy Stebbins order. It's really one of the most familiar orders to magicians, but most magicians never get the most out of it that they can. They never use it in any unique and interesting ways. So this is that standard Cy Stebbins order that you might be familiar with. Every card is 3 more than the one before it. They go in chased order. There's nothing that innovative about the order of it, except that I don't think anybody's ever explored it the way that I have. So I love it. I think that all of the mathematical relationships and all of the fact that the cards repeat is more powerful than having a random memorized stack. I think this is better than a memorized deck. What I just did can't be done with a memorized deck. What I just did can now be done again, and it can be done in many different ways. And there are other things that can be done with this. In fact, I have a couple of dozen different routines that use Stebbins in a way that's very unique and interesting. This one seems completely impossible, but it's so easy to do. So the first thing to know about Stebbins, besides the fact that they are in order, is to get comfortable showing it to people. So see, it's just a deck of cards, right? They won't see the order. They can't. You can never show them enough of the cards for them to recognize that there is any order to them. If something like that happens, which I absolutely love in teaching moments, I don't have to think about where this card goes. If you accidentally drop a card out of Cy Stebbins, it's pretty easy. It's a black card. I just look for 2 red cards together. I don't think numbers or anything like that. and I just slip the card back in between those two red cards, and it's ready. So there's all of that. That's one of the things that I actually use. Instead of peeking the bottom card, for example, I just have somebody take one out. Just take any one out that you want. Doesn't matter where it is. And I normally would have them even do this in their own hands, spread through and just pull a card out. And then I say, you take a look at that, and I'm gonna look at the other cards and see which one's missing. Okay? So now I'm just gonna go through. I don't know whether it's a red card or a black card, but what I'm gonna do is this. I'm just gonna run through very quickly. I'm gonna find two cards that are the same color that are together. So if I don't find it on the first pass, it's okay. It's all right. I'm just going a little too fast. I slow down. It's basically what I'm doing is a version of what seems like the memorized deck. It's so weird. Oh yeah, see, it's way down there. I didn't even know he took it from way down there. But on that last pass, okay, I'm gonna see it right there, and I'm gonna put a finger between those, and I'm gonna go, okay, I've got a feeling for it. I'm gonna cut the deck at that point, and now I'm gonna look at the bottom card. I haven't looked really, I just looked for two cards that were the same color together. So I'm gonna look at the bottom card, gonna add 3 to it, and I'm gonna go to the next suit. So you have the 10 of clubs. Yeah? And then when he gives it to me, because I've already done the cut, I just put it on the top of the deck, and I'm ready to go. It's now reset. So it feels like you're doing, hard work, but you're not. You're doing simple work. Now this particular trick is even easier than what I just did. This is probably the easiest one that I do. The deck stays in order, and I act like I shuffle it. And the acting like I shuffle is this shuffle. All I'm doing is making the noise. That's it. So, put it down here. I don't weave them together. I make noise, and that's it, okay? And I do that while I'm talking to the person, like this, and everybody believes that the deck has been shuffled. Now you can cut the cards as many times as you want to, obviously, so anytime you're gonna turn your back on a person, have them perform the actions that they're gonna perform behind your back, but do it in front of you. So I check to make sure he understands everything. I've seen so many tricks go wrong when a magician turns their back and says, cut the cards and complete the cut. Another person is cutting all over the place and stacking, no. So we get a random cut, and then we get 3 random cards from the top or the bottom, from the top or the bottom, from the top or the bottom. But think about this, with a cyclical order, those 3 cards will still be 3 cards that were together, because from the top or the bottom is going to be like this. So you either have the 3 cards from the bottom, right? Or you have the 3 cards from the top, or you have 2 cards from the top and 1 card from the bottom that were together, or you have 1 card from the top, 2 cards from the bottom that were together. So there's still 3 cards within the cycle that are all together. So for our purposes, we can just take 3 cards off of the top and be done with it. But that whole idea of it being random, makes it seem like it is. And then I talk about like looking at the cards and looking at marks, and that might tell me something about his cards, but I don't look at the cards. I look for the mate to a card, and I don't even pick up the deck until I say a mate to a card. And for those of you that don't know what the mate to a card is, here, let me show you. So the ace of spades, that's a black ace. The other black ace is the ace of clubs. I already know where the ace of clubs is. The mate to the bottom card will always be the 26th card in the deck. So it's easy for me to find the ace of clubs, but I act like it takes some effort, but not much effort. Ah, there it is, the ace of clubs. The 2 black aces, and I show them. And then I say that tells me that you don't have the black aces in your pocket. What it actually tells me is everything. Because his cards follow the ace of spades. The mates follow the ace of clubs. That means if I cut the ace of clubs to the bottom, the mates to his cards are now on top of the deck. That's the whole move, is to cut at the mate of the bottom card, the whole move. Now, for this particular trick, I do one more sneaky thing. I put a card on the bottom. That's it. The top card to the bottom is it. And now, because I don't like to remember things, there are so many things that I don't want to remember. I look at the bottom card. That's it. I just need to know that card. And I put the deck on the table. So now I have a mate to one of his cards on the bottom, a mate to one of his cards on the top, and a mate second from the top. If that isn't the perfect position to be in for three selected cards, three randomly selected cards, I don't know what's better. Completely hands-off, I could reveal all of them. Be pretty easy to do, and you can do that. You can also reveal them any way that you want to, given this situation. You can also do, if you are up to doing heavier duty or sleight of hand, is that a heavier duty? You can reverse one of the cards in the center. I was doing that for a while, but I found that this particular sequence that I showed you is even stronger for people. The two hands-off things are really strong. It sets them up for the idea that you're gonna be hands-off at the end. And when that card appears between those two, it just blows everybody away. But you could have one card reversed into the center. So now, he is gonna pull any one of his cards out. It's gonna appear on the top or the bottom or reversed in the center. In my case here, the only one that is a challenge is if he pulls out the card that would be second from the top. I don't want you to be confused by this because it's actually pretty easy. It's the third card in the sequence. It's the only one that I actually want to touch the deck. I don't have to, it's the second card. I can get there in many different ways, all kinds of stuff. But if he pulls out the card that is the mate of that card, it's just quicker and easier just to do a double lift. So I just do that, and then I do a KM move to clean it up. So that'd be a single card. The KM move is just slipping the back card of the double back to the deck. So that puts this here. Now, typically, I don't have to do that. It happens 1/3 of the time, not a big deal. But the other part is I don't have him just name his cards. I have him tell me the value of his card, and it could be any one of these, so it doesn't matter what it is. So remember, I'm thinking about the 4 of hearts on the bottom, and he tells me his card's a 10. Well, in Stebbins, it goes 4, 7, 10. So this is that challenging second card from the top at this point, the last card in the sequence. So that's what I would do for this one. But if he had told me that it's the 7, it's the top card. If he tells me it's the 4, bottom card. You get the idea? Pretty simple, right? So all I'm going for is trying to reveal them in an order that allows me to secretly get one card between the other two, or however I want to do them. Now I'm gonna backtrack from this and show you how I used to do it, and that is that after cutting the mate to the bottom, I used to do nothing. I would just put the deck into my pocket, I'd have them name the value of one of the cards, and I would, in my pocket, I would pull from the random deck the mate to that card. Then I'd have them name either the color or the suit of the next card, and I could just reach into my pocket and pull out the mate to that card. So you can do the whole thing cards in the pocket, and it seems random, because you know exactly where they are. So, but to them it seems absolutely random. For the third card, it's always the best, because they don't know what it is, but you do. You not only know what it is, you know where the mate to that card is, so you can do miracles. Palm it off, you can slip it here, you can put it in a wallet, you can make it, pull it out of your pocket, you can make it appear between those two cards, do anything you want to before they even take the card out of their pocket. Got it? That is 3 cards in the pocket from Supercharged Stebbins. Okay, enough about that. That is the most heavy-duty card trick. The rest of the stuff I do is not a card trick. I do want to show you something, but for this, I need to borrow a $1 bill. Who has a $1 bill that I can use for just a moment? Anybody at all? I know a lot of people don't carry cash around, but would you mind bringing it up? And put away the rest of the stuff and just bring the single up here. And what's your name?
Ryan.
Ryan. Okay, so Ryan, we're gonna play a little game using this $1 bill. Now this is. Yeah,
Am I staying here?
Yeah, you stay
Okay,
here.
let's stay here.
Yeah, you stay here. Now this is, it's all right. It should be kind of fun for one of us. Now this is like crisp, brand new.
You wanna-
just printed. Well, I'm afraid that I might get a paper cut because of the speed at which this happens. You'll see what I mean. It'll be all right, but it's better if it's one that has already
It's a little
been
better?
Yeah, it's perfect. It's
Okay.
perfect. It's already been in circulation just a little bit. So it's gonna be used to what I'm going to subject it to, okay? So here's the thing, was it Ryan or Brian?
Ryan.
Ryan, okay, so Ryan. All right, so Ryan, whatever you do, don't look away from your money. I'm gonna try to distract you with a pen. I have it over here. Don't look away from your money. I have a pen in this pocket. No, you're looking at the pen. See, I already got you. It's because I put the pen up like it was important. See, you look down at it again. Okay,
I'm a
no.
sucker for magic.
Yeah. No, it's all right, that's all right. Just watch the money, Cap, okay? Because I'm gonna try to do something sneaky with your money, but not this pen. This pen's unimportant.
Okay.
But to see if I can distract you with it, I'm gonna try to uncap the pen in a cool way with one hand. Oh. You looked.
That was
You
impressive,
looked.
though.
Yeah, you looked. Okay, all right, here, look. I'm gonna do something equally or more impressive hold that for a second. You looked at it again. With your dollar, what have I done?
You added a mustache.
I did. See, that's a fancy little magic mustache. Hard to see from there. Little close-up thing, but he's got a big mustache. Again, don't look away from your money. Although the pen's drying out, would you cap it for me, please? Oh, you aren't distracted by that.
I don't think I'll get this, though.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, you weren't distracted at all, were you?
No.
You were the most distracted of the whole thing. You see,
know.
so easily distracted. Have you capped it all the way?
It is kept all the way.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Oh, wait. Now this is a note, and it says something, doesn't it?
What?
It says something, doesn't it?
What?
It says something, doesn't it?
It says what?
I don't know, I'm asking you.
No, what is, what is?
Oh, it says what?
Yes.
Okay. I know, I wrote it. Stop being silly. Here's the other part.
Where is it?
Well, it's right between my hands, isn't it? Oh, it's not asking about the note itself. It's not self-referential. It's asking where the dollar bill is. That makes sense. And here's the answer.
Look inside the pen.
Take it out. I'll take the pen. Unroll your dollar. Show everybody that it has arrived at its final destination. Oh, paper cut free. Nice.
Nice!
All right. So this is called Stash. You stick around because we are going to. Yep. It's called Stash. We're gonna explain the whole thing, but it was my solution to the dollar in the pen, or a borrowed bill in a pen. And everybody was trying complicated things, and they wanted to really get, a torn corner or a serial number, or, sign your name on it or whatever. And I'm like, audiences don't care about that stuff. We talked about this at dinner a little bit. All an audience wants is for you to be right at the end, for it to be successful. And the more interesting it can be getting there, the better it is. The less interesting it is, like for a dealing trick or a number trick or whatever like that, then really they're just relieved that it's correct. So if you think, generally speaking, if you think that your magic square of adding up all the numbers is playing strong, people are applauding every time the number's right, it's just because they'll applaud no matter what to get through it as long as the number matches. So, try it someday. Just randomly fill things in, and then just act like they actually add up. Every time you go, this plus this plus this is 43, and circle it, and that and that and that. And not only that, the corners are also 43. They will applaud exactly as much. They are not following along, and especially if you do it faster, they're happier that you're done with it. Now, some people do great magic squares and other things. I'm using it as an example, and I apologize if that is the big closer to your cruise ship show. But can you imagine? but all I'm saying is this: if you can convince their subconscious that everything's copacetic, then you're way ahead of them. All they want is a surprise ending that is coherent, that resolves all the conflicts that you've created. So this is what that is about. This is pure theater, absolutely pure theater. Nothing actually ever happens. Okay, so let's talk about what's going on behind the scenes. There's your dollar. Okay, here's another dollar. This one's mine. This one has a folded note on the back of it and a mustache drawn on it. This is another dollar with a matching mustache drawn on it. This pen there's a little gizmo. It may have fallen off somewhere. I don't need the gizmo, I can use my teeth. I normally like to use the gizmo. If you get one of these, it comes with it's a little thing that pops this out, but don't worry about it. I'll use my teeth, pardon me. Oh, no, there it is, I have gizmo, okay. So this little thing hooks into here and pops that off like that. Okay, so the pen obviously has the inkwell removed from it. Then the nib is dried out and it's cut shorter. The collar has been cut in half and half of it is inside here. This part's been shaved down so that it's easy to release from here. That hole's been put in for the gizmo. So that's the situation of this pen. And then you take the dollar that does not have the note attached to it, but has a mustache on it, and you roll it up really tight into a tube like this, like you're going to a party in the 80s. So, a few of you laughed a little too much at that. And then you place this into there. So now that's ready to go. If I put the cap on and remove it, it pops that out and reveals the dollar. But if I put the cap on the bottom like this, it doesn't. And look what I was fooling you with. It's the same trick that I started with. It's like the pen is upside down, but you think it's right side up. So that goes into my pocket with the point up like that, so I know it's here. Now the other one, the note gets folded inside like this, and then that goes into the other pocket. So that's my preparation for it. I borrow a dollar bill, and I'm talking to the person, and I fold it, and I say, just keep your eye on your money while I try to distract you with this pen over here. It's done, by the way. That was the switch. I pull the pen out, and now the entire trick is done. So if you miss it, I'll do it again. This is the gimmick, this is the gimmick. So I'm gonna pull out the dollar, I'm gonna do it one more time, but this time I'll explain it. It's Juan Tamariz's double crossing the gaze switch. So it's where I look and what I do, okay? So I fold this. I'm going to look in this pocket, and I'm gonna look at that pocket. What I'm actually doing is I'm pulling out the gimmick, the folded dollar with the note on the back of it. Then I'm gonna look up as my hand comes out. Now my hand comes out, but it has this, but you don't know that. So then I'm gonna look at the other pocket, and I'm gonna do a shuttle pass without the shuttle. That's it. I'm just gonna touch my hands together and nothing's going to move. So I'm doing that. And then I'm gonna reach into my pocket with his dollar, and I'm gonna pull that pen out upside down. So that's it. So let's go, I'm gonna go over it again. Now, without going into my pockets, I will show you, I will simulate what it is, because this is a normal action. And you can practice this and actually go into your pockets and do it, but I'm gonna do it without going into my pockets. So the normal action is this. Oh yeah, here's the dollar bill, I fold it up, and I have something in this pocket. No wait, I have something in that, that's where it is. That's the normal action. See that? So it's normal for you to not find, and then find. And watch the head movement when you do it. There we go. It's important that your head moves. So now when I do it, and I go into my pocket, you don't notice it. That's it. So the entire trick is dependent on something that happens before anybody cares. So it's really, really one of the easiest things to get away with, and it's worth practicing, because you can use it for all kinds of switches for any object that's small enough to fit into a pocket. So now I am done. So now I'm in what I like to call the roller coaster moment. It's where the roller coaster is up at the top. I've done all the work. I've put all the work into it, all of that preparation to build the motor, to build the chain, to do that. Now using that one move, I've hauled the roller coaster up to the top of the hill. Now I just release it. Everything I do from this point on is a curve and a twist and a turn that they don't see coming. So I tell them to watch this, do the interaction. I uncap the pen in a really cool way. It's just turning it over. It's the same move, but I just do it this way. I go, hoop, hold on. I just go, hoop, hip, like that, okay? So, hoop, hip, that's it. So, and here, here, it looks like this, because I'm doing it so you guys can see it, but basically it's like, it looks like I'm throwing the cap up in the air and catching it on the bottom. And that's it. So that's what I think to myself. I'm uncapping in a really cool way. Oh, yep, got it. So now I'm going to act like I draw a mustache, but I'm not even gonna put much acting into it. I'm gonna go like this. That's it. And now when I show them, and I ask them what I've done, and they say you've drawn a mustache on it, the fact that they don't react with shock that I was able to draw a perfect mustache by doing that is all I need to know, that they have been convinced nothing has changed. That's their dollar, and I'm just that good. I mean, think about it. That shouldn't be possible. But no, they're like, yeah, you drew a mustache on it. I'm like, okay, great. Let's move on with this, because the rest of this is gonna freak you out, because that was amazing. But they don't realize that, so don't point that out. I used to, because I was like, how did? But, you know, that sells the undercurrent of it. So now I'm gonna give them the pen, like that, and ignore it. And you're now set for the world's easiest $100 bill switch. So you're gonna fold there and there and there, and then tell them the pen's drying out, please cap the pen. So you can go, oh, don't do it. We're gonna show them the release of the thing. So while they're capping the pen, all you're doing is doing the last two folds, which is to fold this up. So this hand would be doing the same thing as that hand. Fold that up, and then opening that. So it's flip, flip, like that. It's really simple, very, very simple to do. And then just waiting, just holding this. Okay, so again, don't cap it. You now engage in who's on first, but using, you know, what's on the note as the substitute. If you don't know who's on first, it's the Abbott and Costello routine. You can look it up, but this is really easy. They're gonna say what? And I'm gonna say, well, that's what I wanna know. And then I'm gonna say, you know, is there anything written on it? They're gonna say what? Then I'm gonna raise my voice. And then they're, you know, we're just gonna do what you saw me do. And then they're gonna read this. The whole purpose for that is to get them to read out loud what's on here for everybody else that's watching. That's the whole purpose. So then they read that, and I talk about that, and I say, here's the answer. Now they read it, because if I just showed them that and they opened the pen, nobody would know what this said, their minds wouldn't be caught up, they'd be confused as to why they're opening the pen. So this sells it, they read it, and if they don't read this one, if they start to open the pen, I say, well, what does this one say? So, you know, you get them to deliver all the lines in a funny way. Now, the pen is so simple. You want to do it?
It is simple.
Oh, sorry.
It's
Yeah,
that simple.
fine.
There you go.
Okay, good. All right. So really, all it is like I said, when they cap it, it caps like a normal pen. When they uncap it, it pulls that nib off. So really, in their own hands, this changes. And the fact that they believe it's this normal pen, they don't think anything's going to be different when they take it off. You see the surprise reaction. It's like, well, what? Where did the pen go? And how did that? It's a great moment. Then they unroll that thing. Now, if you're doing this in walk around, there's a couple of approaches. You can have a bunch of these rolled up with mustaches on them and leave these as souvenirs like you've seen here. The other thing you can do is this. So here, you take that. You can have, I don't have my normal pen, but you'd have your normal pen like in the same pocket, and you have this. So you've ended up like that. And all you do is as they're unrolling it and getting the mustache, showing the mustache, you take their normal dollar bill out, like this. And then you take this back from them and say, you know, here, will you hold on to that? Because this might actually be bad, because you wouldn't necessarily be able to spend that. It's a little suspicious. In fact, some people consider it a felony to deface currency. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pour the ink back into there. You can take the dollar bill. I will take the pen and put it away. So now I've switched using a simple billet switch, Al Baker billet switch, nothing to it. And then I'm down here, I say go unfold it, and they'll find that there's no mustache, and I switch down here for a normal pen, off tempo, like I did for the color changing one. They're done with that, they get their normal bill back, and I can continue with a normal pen, which I normally just toss on the table.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, so that just gives you some options as to how you might want to apply that. Okay, any questions at all on that at all? No, I didn't think so. Does somebody happen?
What do you call that?
Oh, it's called stash. Both stash for the mustache and stash because the money is stashed inside the pen. So clever, very Yeah, and let's see, I've talked about that and that and that. Oh, I did forget one thing. When I have people help, I do like to reward them. It's getting a little warm in here, so I thought maybe, you like a little ice cream?
Oh, I love ice
Would you like some ice cream? Come on up here. Some ice cream. I happen to have some here in my shirt. Just put your hands out like that. There you go. Enjoy.
Okay, thank you.
All right, no problem.
much. This is gonna
be
be-
ice cream. Okay, there's some for you. You got a pocket right there. We'll put that pocket like this. Oh, hold on a second. We'll get some ice cream over here. You want some ice cream? We'll put that ice cream in your purse. There you go. All right. So here, I just wanted to show you this really quick, and then give you some ideas on it. So this is something I came up with years and years and years ago for my kids' show. So it's an ice cream scoop that when you press the lever, the bowl rotates and you have ice cream. So the possibilities are, well, there's at least a half a dozen. And I'll tell you the best ones. You can come up with obviously any way that you want to use this. So one of the things that I did with it for my kids show was that I would make a milkshake in a milk carton with the top cut off, and put that on top of a kid's head with a card underneath it. So this was part of that. So using a milk pitcher, you act like you pour milk in. And then using an empty carton of ice cream, you act like you put ice cream in. And then you take ketchup and mustard and you act like you squirt that in there. You know, weird stuff like that for the kids. And then you mix it all up. You put a card on it, put it on the kid's head. The card that you put on it is an instruction card. You pull it off to read the instructions, and the next instruction says, "Do not remove the card." Okay, so that's kind of fun. And then eventually you pull. Everybody says the magic words, and you lift it up, and it turns into a present or a gift or a prize or something for the kid. I always use Milky Ways. So those are just secretly loaded into there, and all the other stuff is this. Now the other way I used it for kids' birthday parties was during the cake and ice cream service. So to introduce that at the end of the show, I would tell the parents that I'm doing this particular trick, right? And then I'm going to announce ice cream service, and they would bring out a tray that had cups arranged in it. Now some of those were empty, but almost all of them had a single scoop of ice cream, so vanilla ice cream. So they bring out this tray, and in putting the tray down, I would accidentally knock some of the empty ones off. I'd pick those up and I'd put them back onto the tray, and I'd say, "We're gonna have some ice cream, stay where you are, I will get it." And now I pick up one that has ice cream in it, and I say, "I've gotta find where I put it. Oh yeah, there's some, right there." And then go, plump, like that, into the cup, and give it to the child, and it has ice cream in it. And then I pick up another one and I go, "Oh, you got some behind your ear. That one, there you go, you can have that one." Oh, and then there's some right up in the air, and it's flying right, yeah, I got it right there, perfect. So you do a miser's dream with ice cream as you hand it out for the kids. And then as you hand each one of the kids the ice cream, you say, "Go to the back, the cake's back there, blah, blah, blah," all that kind of stuff, gather around the table. So that's one way to use it. The other way that I really like to use it is for Halloween. So when the kids come to my house for trick or treat, I have an ice cream container, and they come up and they say trick or treat, and I say, "Well, I'll do both." And they're like, "What?" And I scoop in there like this, and inside the ice cream container is candy. I like to use the Reese's, the mini Reese's cups. They're perfect for this. So you get one of those inside the bowl underneath this. So you scoop in, you say, "Oh no, just hold." No, don't hold your bag out, just hold your hands out. They hold their hands out, and you go like that, and the ice cream turns into candy. And then they go like this, and then you take your business card out and you say, "And there it is." So it's a great way to use this thing. So it's super, super fun, and it comes in 3 flavors, vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry. Those are up there. You can play around with those and have some fun doing stuff with that. Okay, now let's talk about tough crowds, and we'll do a trick for the toughest crowd that I've been able to find, and that is a household pet. Now, dogs are easy. You probably know that. And even though it's not a household pet, chimpanzees love magic. You might have seen some YouTube videos of magic being shown to apes, and they absolutely love it. But the toughest crowd are cats. So I'm gonna try. You guys gotta go. All right. Yep, see it. No problem. I'm gonna show you how you can entertain a cat, but I need to borrow a shiny object. Do you happen to have a ring? Any of the ladies happen to have a ring, or a gentleman have a ring that I can borrow, a shiny one? Let me see it. Oh, that's nice, that's beautiful and shiny, yeah. Will you come up here? Sure. And help us with this, and what's your name?
Ben.
Ben? Ben, you can stand right over there. So Ben, is that ring valuable? It looks,
yeah.
I mean, it looks like,
to me.
it looks like it's pure silver, but it does have some, at least emotional value to it. I am going to shake it around in here, which shouldn't damage it in any way. There are no, settings or anything like that to worry about. In fact, here, I want you to take the handle and shake it around yourself, because I have something else to give you. Go, shake it real good so everybody can hear it. We have this thing to give you. I don't normally use something this valuable for this, but if you're gonna entertain a cat, you get a shiny object, you shake it around like this, you immediately have their attention. I normally don't use a ring, I use a quarter, and I just have the person sign their name up. You can stop shaking it. Yeah, I noticed it here. Let me trade with you like that. They may not realize, hold your hand out, what has happened. I shouldn't have said that. Sometimes when I say things, it happens. What do you have there?
A quarter.
Yeah, I know. That's, where did I put that pen? The good one. Oh, I think it's in my, is that, no, that's not the good one. Let me get my coat. Oh, my coat's here. So Ben, let me ask you a question.
Yep.
Would you rather have that quarter, or your ring?
My ring.
Oh, your ring, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, no problem. Because I normally have somebody just sign their name, on both sides, the initials on both sides of this, but it's okay, don't worry about it. Let's just get rid of the coin, and we'll do the whole trick without it. Where's your ring?
You told me.
Oh, you had it last, you were shaking it in here and then switch. See, this is the other thing that entertains a cat, intrigue, mystery, right? There's another mystery here, it's what's inside the bag. Ben, can you guess what's inside the bag? Feel it.
It's a toy?
It is, it's a cat toy.
Yeah.
It's a cat's favorite toy, as a matter of fact. A big ball of yarn. It doesn't matter what cat toys you buy, from what expensive store you go to, the thing they enjoy the most is a big ball of yarn. Here, let's toss that into here. You hold on to the handle like this.
Yeah.
And if you get the cat interested, they will start to unravel the big ball of yarn. Now, one thing that you can do is to put something inside the ball of yarn. So as they start to unravel it, it starts to reveal itself. It makes it really interesting because, first of all, the mystery's there. Secondly, they're getting another sensation. And in this particular ball of yarn, there's a box. And that box is completely sealed, wrapped tightly on every side, so that nothing could get into it or out of it. Weird. In a bag, a ball, and a box. A box and a ball and a bag. Ben,
Yes.
take the box out. And take the rubber bands off of it, and place them here into the pitcher. And guess what's inside the box?
I very much want my ring.
You hope.
Yes.
It could just be a quarter.
Yeah. That'd be unfortunate.
Never really know. Open it up.
This would kill you.
No,
Oh.
there's another bag.
Are you kidding me?
Here, toss the box into here. It gets weirder. And inside the bag, there's another box. Open up the bag. Completely sealed. No way that anything could get in or out of it. There's a box in a bag, in a box, in a ball, in a bag. And now before you open that, here, you can give the bag to me. Before you open that box, give it a little shake. You remember what your ring looked like?
Yes.
If it's inside there, would you be amazed?
I would.
How amazed?
Very amazed.
Let's see.
That's a
Take your wing out. I'll take the box. Give me a big round of applause. Thank you so much for helping. All right, there you go. All right. So this is something I have always loved, the idea of the object in the ball of yarn. but I've never seen a presentation of it that had a justification for why it would be like that. So this whole idea of how to entertain a cat really wraps it nicely. It gives a good framing device for it. But not only that, this one is extremely deceptive because nothing's ever hidden. It's not like you have to go into a table or a case or a box or whatever to get the thing. So, and it happens so quickly that it doesn't seem like there's any opportunity for you to do any of the things that are necessary to do. Now, for those of you that are familiar with this kind of thing, it's a nest of boxes. Obviously, you can use boxes and bags, as I have done here. You can build that nest in many different ways. I talk about this on the instructional video that comes with it. But at the heart of it, the core of it, is a loading device. And then the yarn that's wrapped around it is actually the very important part, because people can't quite figure out that ball of yarn. So I explain all about how that is wrapped around it in order to conceal what's in there, but also allow you to load stuff into it. So that's all explained. But like I said, the loading device is the most important part. And that's what I've come up with is, I think, really the world's best loading device for doing any of this. And it's right here in this bag. So this has been out in the open the whole time. But if you look very closely at the top of this, you can see that even though there's something in there that sort of blends in, there's a hole right in the center of it, and then down here at the bottom, there's this plastic tongue that sticks out there. The loading device is the same color as a brown bag and has a brown bag texture on the funnel top. It's 3D printed with this collar around it, so it hides in plain sight the whole time. That bag hangs here, right out in the open, so difficult to see from there, but on stage the audience can see it the whole time. And all I have to do is a very simple switch, a very simple shuttle switch. So when I have his ring, you don't have to worry about bringing the ring out, but I would have a quarter in this hand, and all I do is I'm showing his ring here. I finger palm it, I go like that. I drop the coin into the pitcher over here, and he's shaking it. And then, just as I go over to pick up the rope, I just drop the ring and pick up the rope, and it's done. There is nothing else. It goes down inside the nest. We do all the byplay. When I tear this out at the bottom and I remove the ball of yarn, the nest inside automatically closes over everything. His ring in the inside, and the bags close. The other box closes over that. The yarn itself still has a little hole in it. This is something that you learn when you do this, just by handling it. You just show all sides of it. You squeeze that side of it and it closes. And now, all that's left to do is to reveal all of the things that it's nested in. So if you've ever thought about doing this, this is really the most convenient way to do it. I do a lot of magic. This is one of the things that I came up with for the Tarbell series. And this is one of those that my audience, it really is the one that tests their intellect the most. It's the one they can't figure out. They're really just, their gears are turning. When they talk to me after the show, this is the one that they point out. They say, we loved your whole show and all that kind of stuff, but what's puzzling me the most is that ring trick. How did that ring get in there? They just love that. So you'll get to see a full live performance of the way that I do it in my show, and then a full explanation of how you put all that stuff together. So the gimmick is already made there, perfectly designed, and everything is there. If you're into that kind of thing. Any questions on that one? I won't take all the time, obviously, to make the whole nest and all that stuff. All right. So since we're on the subject of Tarbell, let me show you the trick that I absolutely love the most that I did in the Tarbell series. This is known as the mystery of the missing sock. Some of you are familiar with the missing sock. If you do laundry, you know that every time you do it, one sock goes missing. Nobody knows how, nobody knows why, but I've sort of figured out what's going on with them, and I just need somebody to help me out here who knows how to do laundry. So I'm looking for somebody clean. If I can find it, maybe in this crowd, I don't know. Will you help?
Sure.
What was your name again?
Dave.
Dave. Let's give Dave a big round of applause. Dave, you helped us out with pen before. If you wouldn't mind standing over there. I have a couple of socks, dress socks for you, fancy, bright dress socks. You'll notice that they are held together by a pin on the top. Just take that pin apart like this, open it up. That's a safety pin, but as soon as you open it, it's no longer a safety pin. It's now a dangerous pin, so be careful. And then show both of your socks. Place the socks back together like this, and I will leave mine in the little clothes hamper on this side with their toes sticking out like the ears of a little bunny. We're going to convince your socks that they're being washed. Check this out. It's a little something I learned in my old job. So Dave, if you will bunch those up, just toss those into the bottom of the bag. And the reason that I have you up here is because, like I said, you're going to convince the socks that they're being washed, and so I need you to make all of the motions and the sounds of a washing machine. Okay? So if you will take the edges of the top of the bag and then stand right here. After you put your clothes into the laundry, what's the next thing that you do?
Detergent.
Detergent. Okay, so act like you're putting that in, and then what's the sound?
Of the detergent?
Yes. You're transporting us there. You're painting a beautiful picture. I absolutely love it. Okay, and then what do you do?
I put the lid down.
Okay, let's hear it. Beautiful. That's great. And then next,
Set the dials.
how and what does it sound like?
Click, click.
Perfect. And then,
Start.
oh, and then what happens?
The water.
And what does it sound like? Magnificent. This is the best I've ever had anybody do here in this place on this stage tonight. All right, so Dave, so after the water goes in, then what happens? Oh, that's good, yeah, that's good, it sounds really good, that's the agitation, yeah, that's what I'm doing as well. Okay, so then the next thing that happens is?
It finishes.
No, that's it. The water doesn't drain out,
Oh,
and all the
okay.
soap and all that kind of stuff is
I
just
guess
left.
so. I'm
Yeah,
upstairs.
No, it's all right. Yeah.
Just wait for
So
the buzz.
yeah, so the water drains out, right? Right. Good. And then I know it goes through that a couple of times, and then I'm just going to coach you on this. While you're upstairs, there's a thing called the spin cycle. Sometimes you hear it from a distance.
Yes.
Right. Do you know what that sounds like? That's pretty good, yeah. That's exactly right. Yeah, he must have one of those newer machines, because it's kind of quiet. It's very nice. And then the buzz. And it's done. You come running down, you open it up, you take the clothes out. Go ahead and do that. And show everybody the socks that you've got there. What's the matter?
I'm missing my sock.
You are. This is what happens every single time. It doesn't have to be a real washing machine. It happens no matter what. I have figured out why. It's because all of those motions and the sounds and all of that, it frightens the socks. I mean, look at how scared that one is. You see what you've done to it? You've traumatized it. But not only that, the matching one has also run away, but the pin's gone too. That means that it must have taken it, and it's taken it to use as a defensive weapon. And it starts searching around. That's the reason why we pinned those together, so that it can find its friends and feel more comfortable. And as soon as it finds them, it uses that pin, and it joins them.
Give me that.
And if you use this method, you will never lose another sock. Big round of applause for Dave. Thanks so much. Thank you. Okay, so this is my favorite one to perform, and as you can see, it is a variation on the 20th century silks. So it's pretty straightforward for most magicians to wrap their head around this. But I think the most important thing to realize about this is that the 20th century silks has been around for a long, long time. You never hear any audience talk about how much they love the 20th century silk. They're not even, they would never say that. Or how much they love when that silk handkerchief appears between the other two silk handkerchiefs. Because it's dumb, it's pointless. Most magic is dumb, it's pointless, it's a trick. What I think we should strive to do, and it's what I strive to do, is to make a connection with people, so that you're doing something that resonates with them, that they recognize, something that they can latch onto, that they can understand, that applies to their life in some way. Most of my stuff does that in some way. This has the strongest connection of anything that I've probably ever done. People love this. They request this, they talk about this, they love the person who gets up here and does the thing. They have fun, people have fun, with them, gives them a chance to stretch and do something unusual that they've never done before. It makes them the star of the show. The magic happens because of that person. We can all relate to the idea of the socks. This works for a crowd of any age, works for kids and adults. This works in any venue, comedy clubs and corporate events. So this is a real working routine. Super simple to do. These socks, obviously in the 20th century, one of the silks is made into a bag. A sock is already a bag. So one of the socks is actually inside the other one, and I'm going to take the time to do it so that you can see how easy this is to reset. So you turn an end sock inside out. Now one of them is pinned here by its toe. That's the one that's going to be folded up inside this sock. And all you do is you lay it on your hand like that. You fold it in half flat like this. And then you turn those two socks back together. That pulls that sock inside, but it keeps it flat, folded in half instead of bunched up. And because these socks that I've specially selected have the black at the top, all you do is a little adjustment here with the tops of the socks, and they blend together so that it really does look just like two plain socks. So one's folded inside here, and if I take the time to show you, you can see the pin there, and you can see it's extended a little bit. But just by putting your fingers on it like this, it looks like you just have two plain socks. You pin them back together so that you're going through the sock that's in between them, and then the other one, and then set this off to the side. You get provided with a little laundry basket, and it has, I put some plastic in there so it holds its shape. So that ending is set there the whole time. Now the hard part really is how to vanish a sock on this side. So I came up with this self-sealing double bag. So here's what's actually going on. There is a short bag inside a long bag, inside the normal size one. So there's the short one down there, there's the long one here. They are taped together on one edge. And when this is done before they've gotten all crushed and wrinkled like that, that one lays flat against the side of the other bag. Now in there goes this single sock. So instead of actually vanishing a sock, what I'm doing is a switch of two socks that are pinned together for a single sock. So that one goes inside the little short bag here, so that I can now take a bag and snap it open like this and act like it's empty. So all I'm doing is I'm holding back the sock in that short bag, and then they take those two that are pinned together, I have them bunch them up and put them in. Those go next to the short bag and down to the bottom with just a shake. So when I roll the top, I'm actually rolling the two bags together. That seals the edges of the tops. It brings that single sock into view, and the two socks are now below the short bag. So they can do all of the stuff over here. That's the heart of the routine. That's the fun part. When they reach in there, I just take this back from them. I look in like there's nothing there. I turn it over like there's nothing there. I show the audience very briefly that there's nothing there, and then I crush it like there's nothing there. So I'm treating it kind of like a vanishing bottle, but there are two socks in here. Hardest part about this routine is to remember that there are two socks in there and not to throw this out after the show. So I'm always very careful to make sure that goes with the stuff back here. So then obviously they show this, and all that's left to do is to pull those out of there. And again, I was talking to some people at dinner about this, and it's the same thing as before. We know we have this ending locked in, so you don't want to just jump on it and just do it. You want to build it up. So it's that whole idea. Like I pay no attention to that, and I talk about that, the scared sock and the single sock and the pin and it running away. And then I say, and it finds its friends. Now, among magicians, you're all thinking to yourself, oh, it's the 20th century silks and I missed it until that moment. right? That's all of a sudden you realize, oh, that's the trick that's being done here. For an audience, the moment I say it finds its friends, they experience what I like to call the no way moment. Now that is the cleaned up version of it, okay? Because what you actually hear from most audiences, even polite ones, is, oh shit. So, but you'll often hear, no way. Some people go, oh shit, some others go, no way. And then you know you got them. Because what you're doing is you're creating suspense where they know that it's there. They know it's gonna happen. They just don't know how. They realize it before they see it proven to them. So you're saying it finds its friends. Then you pick them up. And then you say, and it joins them. So you don't say the things together. You don't go, and it joins them. No, you go, finds its friends, and it joins them. And then after you say that, that's when you show it. So you just, because then you're gonna get their psyche is now like, oh, it's there, I know it's there, I just don't know how it's there. So when you do this, you get automatically into applause pose. You're just gonna pull, separate your hands, and you're ready to go. Now don't do this, it looks weird. Don't do that, it looks weird. You go sideways like that, it looks really great. And people absolutely love this thing. And like I said, that's one that they go crazy for. Like I said, I've chosen all kinds of different wonderful socks. They all have this great character to them. If you need a particular color to match your color scheme in your show, you'll probably find it over there. Otherwise, any combination really works great. So I have one last thing to show you. And for this, I'm going to tell a very brief story using some jokers that I have set aside. There they are. And I just need somebody to kind of come up here and help with these jokers. This story, did you want to help? Sure. Yeah, since you're close. You want to get on the other side of the table over there. What's your name?
Gail.
Say it? Gail. Okay, so Gail, I've got a bunch of jokers here. Let me get these all facing the same direction. You can see that they all look exactly the same, right? The story I'm telling you is about this little town that chooses a messenger. And they get together whenever they need to choose a new messenger for the town. What they're looking for is, they're looking for a messenger to deliver surprise messages to people. So not like somebody that delivers the mail or anything like that, but this is surprises to people. And things that come out of the blue. So they're looking for someone that they call the blue messenger. Now these are all eligible candidates. They're all bicycle messengers. The competition is very simple. If you'll take them and mix them just like I'm doing, just face up in your hands just like that, I'll explain the competition. They gather around the town square. They select someone who has no particular skill whatsoever to be the judge of the entire contest, to make all the decisions. No one can change the judge's decisions, and the competition is a bit of a give and take, a push and pull, and a competition of skill. Once the judge has decided that the contestants are randomized enough, he or she then places them in a row. I think all 8 will fit there in any order they want to. They line them up. Now, if you can't quite fit them, you can also overlap them a little bit, like this. We'll push them over the edge just a little bit. That's fine. That's fine, just like that. Good. Now, are you happy with the order you've placed them in?
Yes.
Terrific. Like I said, a little game of give and take and push and pull. So when you're ready, you reach down and you push any one of them out of the row toward me. Now, you can change your mind anytime you want to, but you make the decision. And are you sure about that? Because you can change your mind. This isn't one of those things where I control it. You're actually in control the whole time.
Okay.
And you're positive?
I'm certain.
Okay, whenever you're ready, you pull one of them toward you, and it can be from absolutely anywhere at all. And again, like I said, you can change your mind. It doesn't matter to me. It's your decision. And push one toward me, anyone at all. And you can change your mind. Be a different one if you'd like. All right, yeah, you good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, pull another one out toward you. That'll be the last one that will be in the competition. You want to change your mind to any of those? We'll get rid of the ones that you
have eliminated. Okay, so let me just put them here in a pile next to you. Okay, pick up the two that are on your side and mix them like this. Can't really mix them much, but mix them like that, and I'll even hand you the other two that you gave to me and mix them in. And again, like I said, it's a game of push and pull, game of give and take. So, kind of spread them out, and whenever you're ready, just give me one of them. It doesn't matter which one you're gonna lay it right here on my hand. And you're sure you wanna change your mind?
It's fine.
Yeah? Because you can change now.
He's the guy?
Yeah, you're sure?
He's the one.
Fair enough, put those face down over there. I couldn't change your mind, even if I wanted to, because then you would know that I was influencing you and I was making decisions, but you got to admit, you didn't make, I didn't make any decisions. I didn't make you do
It's all
anything.
about me.
Yeah? So this is the one that you've chosen after all of that. I mean, it really couldn't have influenced it in any way. All of the other contestants have left the competition, red-faced and embarrassed. And I was asking you to find the blue messenger that brings you a surprise message out of the blue. And you have done it. It says, I'm here for you. Ominous. Very ominous. Thank you. So because Gail did everything, he's going to explain how in the heck you knew.
I'm sorry, taking an oath.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. All right, so this is a little thing that I put together. It's a quick, pretty simple routine. You just need 8 jokers, 7 of them with red backs, and 1 of them with a blue back, and I have printed a little sticker that says I'm here for you that goes on there. It can say anything, or it doesn't even have to say anything. It just has a different colored back. It could be whatever you want. Now, the other thing is that joker is marked on the face. The way I mark it is I scratch off the registered symbol. It's right above the rock if you ever look at the joker. And I just put a black dot there instead. So it's a subtle enough difference that nobody else is going to notice it, but I can see it right away. It sticks right out. So when I see those there, I know which one is that. The rest of it is equivocation. But it's an equivocation that's different from what you're probably used to, because there are some subtle things at play. So the first thing at play is this. I have them do some randomization of the objects, so there's no psychology involved, so that's kind of important. So they really are put down in any random order. So it's not like I'm trying to put down the blue-backed one in any particular location. Now for us, so you guys can follow it, like here it's down at the beginning, like that, which, most people would never want it to be there, but it doesn't matter to me, it doesn't matter where it is. Okay? So I'm gonna leave them this way, but just remember they'd be marked, they'd be face up, people wouldn't think that I knew which one is which. So the first thing is that randomization, and then I say, do you want to switch them around at all? It's important, they have that freedom of choice. And now I'm gonna describe the competition. And I describe the competition in 3 ways. I say, it's a game of give and take, push and pull, skill. 3 ways. But those 3 ways are not the order in which I proceed. So I say, it's a game of give and take, push and pull, involving skill. It sounds like one thing, but it's really 3 things. So I start off with push and pull. So push and pull is this. I say, whenever you want to, reach down and push one toward me. Now, if you've had problems with equivocation or problems with tracking what to do, this makes it easier for you to understand. You're only ever worried about one thing, the target. Just clear your mind of everything else. Your focus should be on the target internally. You should know where the target is, and internally, that's where it is. But your real focus should be on the person making the choices externally. Now, if those 2 things happen to combine, then you follow with what they've done. So if I say, reach down and push one toward me, and he pushes the target toward me, I don't immediately go, yes. Remember? Remember, we talked about that before. Most magicians would. In fact, I say, even before they push one, I say, and you can change your mind anytime you want to. So if he were to push that one, I would immediately say to him, You sure? Because you could change your mind. You could push another one out if you want to. He might actually do that. And you might think that that is a missed opportunity. It's not. You have to let go of that initial thing. The problem, the worst possible outcome would be for him to push this here and for me to go, that's the blue one. You know, or to turn these over and say, those are red and that's the blue one, and you found it. Because that would be luck. That would be truly random and luck. And he would have an explanation for that. He could say, well, yeah, I just got lucky, let's try it again. And if trying it again, it would not happen, generally speaking, the same way. Even though I had, at one lecture, it happened 3 times in a row. Sarah Ella was there, she can verify it. It's never happened to me before. And I was unable to explain what I'm explaining to you now, because they just wouldn't believe me. But I say, would you like to change your mind? And if he doesn't, if he says no, that's it. I say, and you're sure, because you really can change your mind. If he doubles and triples down on that, now it's not luck. See? It's different. Now I can show them. And now I can say, look, I gave you a chance to change your mind, and you didn't. This is the one that you selected, and that's true. And then I can show that it's that. So it's different from me just showing it before I give him the chance. So you have to give him the chance to change their mind. Now typically what will happen most of the time is that they will push one that is not that one. The words are the same. This is the other thing about equivocation, is that many people think you have to change a lot of what you're saying, a lot of your script. But the truth is, if your script is good, it's always the same or feels the same. There's very little that has to change. So I'm saying, do you want to change your mind? You've pushed one out, you want to change your mind? Well, guess what? He could. And what if he changed it for that one at that point? You see how much stronger that would be, right? So these are opportunities that you leave open for yourself. Now, all you're actually doing during the entire procedure is waiting until he makes a commitment to his choice. And then you are describing the picture. That's equivocation. Equivocation is not influencing them, it is not making a choice for them, and it is not changing the outcome of their choice. It is waiting until they have made a commitment to a random choice and then describing the picture. And that description of the picture has to flow in a natural way. It can't be forced. Now, it's pretty easy to flow in a natural way no matter what happens here. Let's say that he pushes out one that's not that one, and he commits to it. I've given him a chance to change his mind and he hasn't. I say, and now pull one towards yourself. We are exactly in the same position we were before, with a tiny caveat, and that is he could pull that one toward himself or one that's not that one. So always internally focusing on the target, externally focusing on him and his choices. So if he pulls that one out, would you like to change your mind? If he changes his mind, then we have a random one. But let's for a moment just talk about that, where he pulls the target out and he doesn't change his mind. And I say to him, look, you've isolated 2 of them, and you're sure of that. You could change your mind now if you want. And he commits. And I say, great, let's get rid of the ones that you didn't isolate. So we remove the center ones and we end up on 2 of them. So remember that, because you're going to see something with 2 of them that you didn't see in this presentation. Okay. Or what typically happens is a non-target. So non-target, non-target, very typical. But now we get to the 3rd one, push another one toward me. We are back in the same position with a caveat. The target could move. All I'm doing during this push and pull procedure is following the target, and when the target moves, that determines what proceeds, where it goes forward. So again, the interpretation of the picture is based on where the target is. So if the target moves on the 3rd push, which it did for us, just so you know, and he commits to it, which he did, I say now, pull another one of them out. Those will be the 4 that we'll use. And the one that he pulls out, he can switch for another one, because we're going to use these 3 plus 1. Okay, so it makes sense. If the target had not moved on the 3rd one, I would simply say, and pull another one out. I wouldn't tell him what's going to happen yet. Push 2, pull another one out. If he pulls the target, give him the choice, give him the choice, give him the choice, and say, great, those are the ones that you've isolated, those are the ones, not these. remove the middle, we are back where we were before. Or he pulls one of those, and I say, okay, good, you push these two out, you pull those two out, that leaves 4 of them for the competition. You see how the picture, based on the target, can be interpreted 2 ways. It's either in, or it's in there. No matter where the target is, that's what continues. So it's pretty easy once you start to understand that. You can also go all the way through every part of it, but every card can move, but it's stronger to eliminate as quickly as you can down to those 4. The other thing about equivocation is it's technically a binary process, which is the reason I'm using 8, because 8 goes to 4, goes to 2, goes to 1 for binary numbers. And it only takes 3 procedures. So remember those 3 procedures, this is the push and pull. So in our case, we ended up with these 4, and now we're going to go to the give and take. So those go off to the side. The give and take starts with these in his hand, and I ask him to give me one. And we are in that same possibility here, but in a different plane and with a different intention. Instead of pushing and pulling, it's giving and taking. So remember the give and take part, right? So, give one to me. Well, he gave me the target. I gave him the chance to change his mind. He doubled down. You got to see that in action. You see how strong it is when he doubles down. When you say, are you sure? Because you can change your mind for another one. Give me a different one if you want. He says, nope, that's the one. So much stronger. When they double down on it, it's really good. Now, if he had given me one of these and he said, that's the one, I would say, great, now take one for yourself. So, take one for yourself. Look, the easiest way, and he might have an issue, then he has 2 hands, so let's try it. Let's just try it, Gail, for this. So you have them there, and here, let's make it real. Let's make it real, okay? So we know that I don't have the target. This is the one he gave me. I would say, now take one for yourself. Terrific, just toss the other ones down. Oh, but look, you can change your mind. You could switch this one for one of those, you could switch that one for one of those, you could switch these 2, whatever. Those 2 go down on the table, but do you like the one that you took? You like the one that you gave me? Switch them around as much as you want. Yeah? And you're happy with it? Put those 2 down on the table. Now I have to look for the mark, and that's it. And I say, look, you took one out here, you took one out there, and you put 2 down into the playing field here. I want you to turn yours face down and place it with the ones that you've eliminated. It's that simple. Interpreting the picture after the fact. Because the target will either be in his hand, in my hand, or among the 2 that go on the table. And any of those makes sense. If it's in my hand, I already know it, and it doesn't matter. Just we go right to it because he said that's what we wanted to stay with. If he takes it out and it's in his hand, the 2 that he put on the table, I just ignore them. And I'm focusing here. I'll show you that. It would look like this. You would have that. Those 2 would go onto the table like this. And I would say, you're sure you've switched them as much as you want to? Great. Take these 2 and mix them like you were doing with the 4 of them, because you're going to make one last decision. See? So it doesn't seem like I'm forcing anything. It seems like I'm following his lead. But his lead can be divergent. It can go 2 different ways that make sense. That's equivocation. Okay. Now, let's talk about the last 2. No matter how, and you never got to see this, but this, I'm very proud of this. So, no matter how good your equivocation is, it typically comes down to these 2. The procedure that I've shown you always has that possibility of hitting along the way. So it's an interesting procedure. And you can read about that in Excellent Choice, which is my ebook on equivocation. There are a dozen routines in there with all kinds of things, not just cards. There's a calendar routine that you can get to any day of the year. There's a tattoo routine in there. There's a thing about somebody who walks a dog. They pick the breed, the color, all of that kind of stuff, and then it appears as a balloon animal inside a bag. There's a bunch of different interesting stuff. So this is the ending that you didn't get to see, but it's really great. Okay, I told you it's a competition of push and pull, give and take, and skill. It's time for the skill. See? So remember that from the beginning. I now bring that up, that's the 3rd phase, and I say, there are 2 bicycle messengers left, and you decided which 2. I had nothing to do with you isolating them. Now you don't know which one of those is the more skilled rider, but in a moment we're going to find out, because you're going to determine that. So whenever you want to, you're gonna reach forward and you're gonna spin one of them upside down. It's entirely up to you. Spin either one of them upside down. Think about it. Which one will you spin upside down? And if you'd like to, you can change your mind. You've got one upside down? You can change your mind if you want. Now, it's that moment that gives me a chance to see which is which. Okay? That way it doesn't seem like I'm focusing on it. So you can change your mind if you want. I see people look at marks all the time for no reason. Okay? They go, oh, you've turned one upside down. Good. Now it looks like they're looking at a mark. But if I go, you can change your mind. Now I know. So I say, at the end of this BMX trick riding competition, one of the riders was doing the best trick that the judge had ever seen. One of them was standing on their head with their bike in the air, still riding it, while the other one was just standing there, staring, just looking at this amazing trick. The one that you chose to have stand on his head is the most skilled rider you have ever seen. See how that really makes it seem like his choice, doesn't it? It seems like it could only have been his choice. And I say, and the other one left the competition red-faced and embarrassed, just like all the others. Okay? So that's what happens if he turns the target upside down. But what, you ask, would happen if he turns the non-target upside down? Again, give him a chance to change his mind. You could change your mind if you want. Now I know that the non-target is upside down. And I say at the end of the BMX, a bike riding competition, one of the riders was displaying steadiness and skill, still sitting there upright, proud, on his bicycle, while the other one, the one that you turned upside down, was in a heap, upside down with his bike on top of him. Obviously the inferior rider, who left the competition red-faced and embarrassed, just like, you see? Again, it really just seems like it's the only way it could be, because you make sense of the picture. So if I can impart anything on you when it comes to equivocation, it should not seem like equivocation. It should seem like this is the only way the story could have gone. The story makes sense based on whatever picture there is. That is known as the Blue Messenger. That concludes the lecture. Thank you so much for inviting me.